Welcome to the Educating Kids and Connecting Families podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to provide your family with encouragement, inspiration, and connection. I'll equip you with resources and expert advice to help you effectively educate your kids in a fun and meaningful way. If you value education, quality family moments, and community, you're in the right spot. We'll discuss all things parenthood, education, homeschool, ways to balance it all, and so much more. Join us each week as we empower you to raise kind, confident, and independent kids while building community and connection. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 40 of Educating Kids and Connecting Families. I'm your host, Christine Furman, and I know that homeschooling is not always all rainbows and sunshine. I know that some days of homeschooling are hard. I know that some days being a mom is hard, and running a business can be difficult. And trying to do all three of those things at the same time, it can be challenging. Now, don't get me wrong. There are definitely times that all of those things can run so smoothly. And homeschooling can be a breeze and every day is going great and perfect. And running a business, you've got systems in place and a great team and things are just running smoothly. The house is perfectly clean and dishes are done, laundry's cut up, all those things. But what if those things are not happening? What if you are feeling the chaos of it all? No matter what your situation, maybe you're a full-time homeschool mom, maybe you are a homeschool mompreneur, maybe you are a working homeschool mom, and maybe you're even a single working homeschool mom, or maybe any and all of those situations, or maybe it's something different. But whatever your role is, I know that we all have our days. We have our days of just smiles and success, and everyone's in a great mood. And we have those days of struggle, frustration, emotions, hormones, all the things that could happen, right? The house is disarray, work, doesn't stop calling, or they need your attention, or the kids need our attention more than normal. I get it. So this goes for all the mamas out there too, whether you are homeschooling or whether you're not. But today we are specifically going to discuss the ups and downs of homeschool life. So for me personally, I know what it feels like to balance at least 3 full-time jobs, or at least I feel like that, right? I'm a mom, and that is a full-time job, a homeschool educator teaching my kids, and running a business. And I honestly believe that each of these roles are full-time positions. You could be a full-time mom and constantly be busy all the time. You could be a homeschool mom and constantly be busy all the time, educating and field trips and, finding the right curriculum and different activities and events. It could be a lot, different communities, all the things. Running a business, oh man, there's so many different tasks that could fall into that. Managing a team, updating all of the things, electronic, computer, curriculum, whatever your niche is. You can constantly be working on something. So I get it. I get that it's a lot, and it can be a lot. And I also get that some days can run so smooth. And some days I feel like I'm crushing it. Like I'll be like, yes, work is going great. And all of these things are just flowing correctly and just smoothly. While other days, I feel like I'm drowning and barely staying afloat. So you're not alone, because I'm sure some days feel like that, regardless of whatever your situation is. Maybe you're a mom at home and you feel like that. Some days, like, yeah, I've got this mom thing. And other days, you just feel like you are drowning. And this goes for all of these situations: homeschool mom, a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, a mompreneur, running a business, whatever our situation, single moms, military moms, like I feel for you all. Every single one of you, my heart goes out to you because I know we've all had our days of struggle. And I know we've all had our days of crushing it. So let's dig in to ways that we can manage it all. Give ourselves grace and maybe some others grace too. Sometimes we need to do that and crush our goals. All right. So let's talk about this. Like I said, we're specifically going to be talking about homeschool life. So I know for us personally, homeschool life allows a lot of freedom and flexibility, which is great, but it is very easy for the day to slip away. And again, I know this could go for anyone. If you don't have your priorities in order, if we don't have a plan or goal or actions for what we need to accomplish for that day, it is very easy for the time to just slip away. Our mornings, it could be 10 o'clock and it's like, geez, we're just getting ourselves ready for the day. We need a snack. We need to get some school in. And then you turn around and it's lunchtime. And then I'm trying to get some work in. And next thing I know, I turn around and it's dinner time. And it's like, what did I actually accomplish today? Everyone's alive. Everyone ate. I'm still standing. The house may have had one load of laundry done and, it may be cleaned up a little bit, but I get it. Some of those days, they are hard, they are heavy. And it's easy to let those days slip away. But we can come up with a plan and have that balance for this because sometimes work is going to take more attention for us. Sometimes we may have back to back calls. We may have endless tasks that need to be accomplished by us. And work may be the priority for the day while the kids are doing independent tasks or, working on projects. And then there are some days where we are so devoted to our kids and we're focused on engaging lessons. We're having a great time snuggling up, reading, doing all the things. Things are just going well. Maybe we're on field trips. Those can take a whole day. Spending quality time together. So some days you are just all in it, homeschool life, and it's going great. Some days it's all about work. And then some days it's all about the errands that we have to run. We have appointments, we have things that need done around the house, and there's always something to be done. As a mom, I feel like that is always kind of what's going on, right? There's always something or someone that could need our attention. We could be planning for homeschool. We could be checking out new curriculum. We could be doing our business tasks or whatever that may be. For me, it's, creating the curriculum, it's recording videos. It could be the house, doing the laundry or, doing the dishes or making dinner or grocery shopping. And I know some days we just have all of this chaos, just all of this stuff just feels like it's coming in on us and our walls are just kind of caving in. And maybe sometimes we just need to surrender to that. And whatever that may be for you, I know for me, I just have to pray and say, help. I need help. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help when you're praying. It's okay to ask a neighbor for help, your spouse for help, even your kids. Be honest with them. Tell them, what are the things that are stressing you out right now? Listen, mommy has a really big call that I have to prepare for. I really need you guys to focus and be quiet and work on this project or read these books or whatever that may be. I know as a homeschool mompreneur running a business, there are tasks that sometimes take priority. And I need to accomplish them because other people may be waiting on me. And the kids know that. So here's my thing with that is like they're learning right there alongside you. They're watching all of those moves that it takes to run a business. The good ones, the not so good ones, the stressful moments. And my hope is that I could set them up for success, that I could work through all of these challenges that I've encountered and be able to teach them. So then that way, if they choose to run a business, can be successful, cannot have struggles. And of course, we're all going to have struggles, but All of those moments are teaching moments. They're all opportunities for them to learn from you. And some days we may just have to run around and have errands and have things to do. And again, it's being honest with our kids. Listen, I know that, it's hot, or I know that we're running into all of these different errands and it's not the most fun, but, and giving them the but, right? Here are the things that I have to do. But once I'm done with this, we are going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to play a game. We're going to go to the park. We're going to snuggle up and watch a show together. We're going to read a book together, right? So sometimes it's giving our kids that, listen, I know that it's a busy day and I am so proud of you for hanging in there. And this is what's going to happen. Or, it's doing something together as a family because we've all endured whatever the challenge may be. And as a mom, as a homeschool mom, some days it's, yes, like we are all on. All the kids are on, right? They are accomplishing things. They are just on it, right? Their mood is good. Their focus is on it, and they are ready to just move on to the next task. All right, mom, what's next? All right, let's do this. All right, we read that and they're reading it so great. There's no argument, there's no frustration, there's no whining. Those are the days. Those are the good days, right? So I know for us in our home, we prioritize reading, phonics, spelling, and math. Those are the big things. Like, let's make sure we get these things done because those are important. I need to make sure you're a good reader, you have great math skills. And guess what? That doesn't mean that we don't cover these other topics and these other things, right? Social studies or science or communication or writing, or that doesn't mean we don't cover that. It just means it happens at random times throughout the day. Maybe it's in the car while we're running those errands, practicing our math facts, reading our chapter book, talking about current events, talking about where we're going. What are the expectations when we get there? How can they help? How can they be respectful? What does that look like in this situation? Because that's going to look different in different situations. So just giving them those skills and having conversations with them while you're in the car, that's huge. Because sometimes the things that they come up with and the questions that they come up with, if we just give them a moment to ask their questions and to really lean in and give them a good answer to their whys of the world, it's awesome to hear some of the things that they say, their creativity, their imagination. One day we were talking about what kind of car they wanted and what kind of house they wanted to live in and what kind of job. These are all things that are preparing them for life and then being able to have real conversations with them about those things. The other thing we do is we do school while we're at piano, while we're waiting. One goes, they take turns. So during that time, we sit there and I get to have one-to-one time while the other one is in piano. And it's very good focused time. We don't really have much else to do. So we sit there and we do our school. Maybe it's while we're making dinner. They're helping and they're learning about, the different ingredients or different topics that we had been talking about throughout the day. Maybe it's even sitting around the table. And during that time, oh my goodness, we've had so many conversations around our kitchen table. We've discussed everything from science to social studies, current events, life skills, business topics. And they're included in all of those conversations. Any conversation that my husband and I have within reason, right? There's some conversations that they're not included in. But when we have a conversation about our day and we say, hey, this is what happened today. This is how our day went. This is the solution. This is what caused this. They're part of that. They're listening. And they're able to start problem solving and be forward thinking and think outside the box. Those kind of things are priceless when it comes to education. And you guys know, if you know me, if this is the first time you're joining me, I'm going to share with you. I truly believe that learning happens all the time. So that is definitely one of my biggest things. Learning truly happens all the time when we're with our kids. They're listening, they are sponges, they are soaking it up. While they're at the park running around playing, that's education. That's physical education. They need to run, they need to move their body. When they're at the park and they're on a nature walk, that's science. They're learning about the world around them. When we're in the car and we're driving on a road trip and we're talking about all the different states and the cities and the capitals and animals or whatever may come up during that road trip, there's social studies, there's geography. All of these little pieces add up. So let's talk about when the kids are off. And I mean, like, they are just not having it. They are not having a good school day. They're not having a good morning. They just are struggling, more whining, more frustration, more, I don't want to do this. Do I have to do this? Maybe it turns into a meltdown. Who knows? But we have those days when our kids are just off. And the first thing I have to say is, well, why? Why are they off? Is it because of the food that they've eaten recently? Did they have more sugar than normal? Have they had enough water? Did they not sleep well enough? Are they going through a growth spurt? Are hormones kicking in? Did something someone say affect them? And guess what? The beauty is you have an opportunity to just pause and say, hey, what's going on? Do you need a snack? Do you need to go take some time to yourself and take a break? Because you can do that. That's the beauty and the flexibility of homeschooling is you can lean into their emotions and say, you know what? It's okay. We all have our off days. Why don't you go outside and go ride your scooter around and get some energy out? And now we're not leaning into and rewarding bad behavior. This is not what's happening here, but recognizing that some days things are just a little bit more frustrating. That some days they just don't want to draw a picture. And this is a true story, and that's okay, right? The comment was, well, I'm just not an artist. I'm just not going to be an artist. That is okay. I need you to tell me what happened. We don't necessarily need a picture right now. And I'm okay with that. You have that opportunity to say yes and no to things. Some things are going to trigger your kids in one way or the other. If your kids are more hands on, if they're sitting in front of a computer, they are not going to enjoy that. It may trigger them into a moment of frustration. If your kids are artistic, lean into that. Let them draw. So, leaning into our strengths and weaknesses, again, another huge benefit of being able to homeschool our kids. Because, sure, I'm going to teach them all the skills. One of them may need extra help in math, one of them may need extra help in emotion regulation. And I can lean into that and I can just nurture that. So then that way, they are going to continue to grow and develop these skills because it's going to take time. It's going to take consistency of saying, let's just keep practicing these skills in all different ways. Maybe it's a trip to the park or the library. Maybe everyone is just off for the day and you just are like, you know what? Let's either pack our school up and let's go to the park and do our school at the park, or let's go to the library, do our school there and get some new books. Or maybe it's just going to the park and running off some energy, meeting some new friends. Maybe mom gets to have a mom moment with some other moms that are there and just really having that opportunity to lean in to that flexibility of a homeschool family. Maybe if they're off for the day or for a moment, maybe it's an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We're learning about this in science. Why do leaves change colors? Let's find an educational video on why leaves change colors and let's watch it together. And a lot of times at that moment too, I know for us, being able to do it together, say, hey, come sit on my lap with me. Now we're getting that physical touch as well. Because sometimes they need that. Sometimes they just need a hug or they need to wrap up in a blanket. And then they're getting to kind of just let everything go for a minute and just focus on that show that's still educational. And maybe sometimes after school, it's not educational. Maybe they really do just need to zone out, and that's okay. Maybe it's a hands on art project or science project and say, you know what? Let's do something with our hands. Let's go in the kitchen and let's cook. Let's find a science project. Let's do an art project. Sometimes it's just taking an off day and finding an opportunity to do something different. Doesn't mean that it's an off day and we're not doing anything. It just means we're going to do something different. We're going to pivot. And we have that opportunity to pivot and say, you know what? We can come back to this math lesson later. I can double up tomorrow. Because guess what? If you're learning about fractions, you're going to learn about it again. I promise you. They're going to keep building on these skills. And you can even do it on the weekend, do it in the evening, whenever it makes most sense for your family. So I know some days we as moms are off, whether it's our sleep is off, stress level, food, the weather could bother us, our hormones, even just situations. Maybe it was a conversation we had with someone, our spouse or a family member, or maybe we are thinking about others. I know that's happened to me before. Even things as like a hurricane in Florida, and I know friends that are there, and I think about them all day and worry about them, or a family member that's sick and you're far away and you can't do anything about it. And you're just thinking about them. You're kind of in this like weird haze of like, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything to help, but I can't stop thinking about them. So sometimes when that happens, just give yourself grace. I know that it's easy to say and sometimes hard to do, but just lean in and give yourself some time. Maybe that's reading a book. Maybe that's going outside. Maybe it's taking a nap. Maybe it's going to take a bubble bath, whatever it is, to give yourself some time to de-stress. Building a puzzle. That is one thing that I did with my kids. And it's like, oh my goodness, like sometimes just going to do something, I don't want to say mindless because a puzzle, it requires strategy, but it's something that it took my mind away from work. It took my mind away from school. It took my mind away from the house. And it allowed me to, one, be present with my kids, and two, just focus on something that requires not a lot of energy. So think about that. What are some things that you enjoy doing that gives you some of that time for yourself? Also, look at your water intake. Are you dehydrated? Do you need some protein to pump you up and give you some energy? Or even get your favorite pick-me-up drink. I know for me, it's e-Boost. I love it. It is my drink that I drink in the morning, and it has caffeine, it has clarity, it has focus. For others, it might be a coffee, it might be a tea. Whatever it is to give you a pep in your step, go ahead and go for it. Maybe it's a trip to Starbucks with the kiddos because you need to get out of the house. You need everyone just to be contained for a little bit, and you need to get some caffeine. So go ahead and do it. You have the flexibility and freedom to do that. Maybe it's putting on some music. I know for me, when I have to get into my work zone and I feel a little bit all over the place, like, oh, we didn't quite get all of the school done. The dishes are in the sink. Laundry needs done. The house is a little bit disarray. I got all of these work tasks. I throw on some praise and worship music. Oh my goodness. It helps to calm and relax me, and I'm able to focus on the task at hand. Even saying those little prayers like, Lord, help me. I need some help. I need to focus right now. And Our kids can even say these little short prayers. Help me focus. I even have other strategies and remedies that I've used, other holistic approaches for focus for our kids too, because there are options. There are things that our kids might need to help an imbalance in their body. So that's something else. Maybe I can share more about that with you if you guys are interested in things like that as well. But putting on music, one, it could be like a background kind of a music, just in the background, kind of allowing you to just have it and kind of soothing. Maybe it's instrumental, whatever that music is for you. Or maybe it's throwing on your favorite party songs and just having a dance party, whether it's by yourself, whether it's with your kids, but just enjoying some music. Here's something else I just thought of. Maybe if it's even just lifting some weights. Sometimes that strength training and getting a workout in is a great way to reset. So these are all things to like, how can I reset the day? Because it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? Some days are hard. Some days are great. And how can I turn around a hard day so then that way it's a great day? And how can I give us a reset? Maybe it's getting out of the house for a minute. Maybe it's everyone taking a little bit of a timeout. Maybe it's everyone just joining together and reading a story today. So I know some days we feel like we're crushing it. Morning routines going smooth without a hitch. Everyone's in a good mood. We're transitioning to the next task smoothly and with ease. Work tasks are running well like an oiled machine. The house is clean. You know what you're having for dinner, and you are all caught up on the laundry. Whew, that sounds like a great day. Enjoy those days. Enjoy those moments. Because yes, the laundry can be caught up and then it cannot be. Or, the house can be clean and then it's not. These days, these moments happen. And then sometimes they're gone in the blink of an eye. Just remember, some days are going to really run smooth, like butter. And other days, you're going to want to crawl into bed, maybe take a nap, cry, or have a good scream. Either way, all appropriate, all acceptable, because some days we just don't know. Some days we have that feeling inside and it's like, I just don't know how to get this feeling outside of me. Maybe you've done all of those things, all of the reset things, and you just are still like, what do I do? How do I get out of this funk? Well, give yourself grace because motherhood is hard. Running a business is hard. Homeschooling is hard. They can all be wonderful, but they can all have their challenges. So here are some things that you can do. Have a plan, but be flexible. Things can change in an instant. You can have a plan for school and work, and you know exactly what you're going to get done for the day. And then, whoop, gone. For us, that just happened. It was my husband's birthday. He worked, he came home. I'm working, he's on a call. I throw in a load of laundry, not thinking anything of it. And the kids come running up and they say, Mom, Dad, the garage is leaking. Water is dripping everywhere. Our whole laundry room was completely flooded. Water was everywhere. It was into my daughter's bedroom. It was into our hallway, running down the foyer, running down the garage, because our laundry's on the second floor. And our whole life changed in an instant for that week. Now, I did continue to praise God that everyone was safe, everyone was healthy. So in the big scheme of things, we were okay, but it changed our routine. We had to have heat fans put in our home. Our AC kept tripping, which it's still hot in Georgia. It's September and still very hot. We just had a 90-degree day. So no AC when you're used to that, it's hard. Plus, having these fans just pump heat into the floor and into the ceiling because they're trying to dry out the wood and the subfloor. My daughter can't sleep in her bedroom because of all the fans. So they try to have a sleepover. They try to sleep in the living room. Like everyone's sleep was disrupted. Everyone's routine was disrupted. So we had a plan, but we had to be flexible because I had to give grace and say, you know what? I understand if you're a little frustrated because you probably didn't sleep well. I understand that you're frustrated because this noise is constant. The heat is unbearable. It was a very tough few days, but we made it work. We did school outside, or we went and we ran an errand, and we did school in the car or wherever it was. And it gave us that opportunity to have a plan, but know that it could change. We have goals for each of our tasks at hand. School, what are the goals that we have for our kids, for our curriculum, for our lesson planning? What are our goals for work and for our tasks that we need to get done? What about the house? When is laundry being done? When are the dishes being done? When's all the cleaning happening? Having a plan, having goals. But just know that those things can change. That schedule can completely change, not only for unexpected things, but it can change often. It can change daily, weekly, even monthly. So plan for a month. What does this month look like? What is our schedule, our kids' activities, church activities, different events that we're going to attend, any travel that's going to happen? What's happening in this month? Where's my school time? Where's my work time? And keep in mind that changes happen with the seasons as well, and different life events that may happen. If you have a loved one that's sick, you may be traveling to visit and see them, and then that may throw things off. So just remember, be flexible, but have a plan. I think that's really, really important. And find the routine that works best for your family. So does that mean that it's 3 to 4 days a week for school and maybe 1 to 2 days for work? Does that look like school is in the evening or maybe on the weekend? Make sure you're following your state requirements for required hours and days. But remember, learning is happening all the time, and your schedule does not have to mirror a typical school day. You got this, Mama. You are doing amazing things no matter what position you are in. But homeschooling your kids is such a gift, and you're doing an amazing job. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe. Make sure you leave a review, share with a friend that this may be helpful for them, and be sure to follow us on social media. So I have a special group, an exclusive group, Educating Kids, Connecting Families Facebook group. And the link is in the show notes below. But I would love for you to join that group and help keep the conversation going. So what I would love to hear are some of your struggles and successes while balancing homeschool life in whatever capacity that is. So let's get connected and build a supportive community for you and moms around the world. Well, if you guys are thinking about homeschooling and you need curriculum ideas or would like guidance on your journey, please be sure to reach out to me. I would be happy to set you up for success, you and your family, and help you on your educational journey. Thank you for listening to the Educating Kids and Connecting Families podcast. I appreciate your support and cherish each and every listener. If you found value in this episode, download it, share with a friend, or leave a review. If you're interested in even more resources for you, activities for your kids, and connection, I encourage you to join our exclusive community, Educating Kids and Connecting Families with Christine Furman on Facebook. You can find the link and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. I'm looking forward to connecting with you and supporting your family.